Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled, What If Herschel Walker Didn't Go to Georgia? In 1980, a freshman running back ran for 1,616 yards, carried the ball 274 times, and won a national championship, but still finished third in the Heisman Trophy voting. That player was Herschel Walker. Now here's the question nobody asks. What if the reason he finished third is the exact reason he should have gone somewhere else? Because what if Herschel Walker doesn't go to Georgia, but goes to West Virginia instead? He doesn't just win the Heisman, he reshapes who controlled college football in the 1980s. But first, we need to set up the real 1980 and ground this in reality. Georgia in 1980 has an elite defense, a strong offensive structure, coached by Vince Dooley, and it's built to win with balance, not dependency. And Herschel Walker walks into that system as a freshman and becomes the best player on the field, but not the only story. That matters because Heisman voters, especially in that era, didn't just reward greatness, they rewarded centrality. And at Georgia, Herschel was dominant, but he wasn't the entire offense. He wasn't the entire identity. He wasn't the entire broadcast. And that sets the table for the fork in the road. Now let's rewind to recruiting. Everyone assumes Herschel Walker to Georgia is inevitable, but what if it wasn't? Enter West Virginia. West Virginia at the time is an independent program with national scheduling flexibility and searching for a defining identity. And West Virginia doesn't just sell Herschel Walker on touches because Georgia is already offering that. He proposes something else. With the sell being at Georgia, you'll be great. At West Virginia, you'll be unavoidable. No rotation debates, no shared spotlights, no defensive identity taking headlines, just you, every play, every game, every broadcast. And that sets the table for the decision. And here's what makes this plausible. In this alternate universe, Georgia thinks they already have him. That can happen, even with elite players. But throw in a delayed visit, a softer close, or a program assuming momentum is enough. Meanwhile, at the same time, what if West Virginia went all in with a late push, full commitment, and a clearer vision? Instead of choosing the safe legacy, he chooses the larger stage, not geographically, but the larger narrative. And that sets the table to the what if 1980 season West Virginia version. Now we play it out. Herschel Walker at West Virginia in 1980. This is not a balanced offense. It's not a committee, and it's not subtle. It's 30 carries a game minimum. Game after game, the broadcast becomes the same story. Can anyone stop Herschel Walker? And now the stats change from 1,616 yards to 1,900, maybe 2,000 yards. But here's what matters more than the numbers. Every yard means more. Because without him, West Virginia doesn't function. And that sets the table for the signature moment. And it comes in a game between West Virginia and Penn State. Top tier independent matchup. National audience, and Herschel Walker goes off. Runs for 180 plus yards, late game winning drive, and he literally carries the team. That's the moment. And this is not just dominance, it's dependence. And that sets the table for the Heisman flip. Now we revisit the key stat. In real life, he runs for 1,616 yards and finishes third in the Heisman Trophy voting. In this alternate timeline, you have the same player and slightly larger numbers, but a completely different narrative. Now he's not a great freshman on a great team. He's the reason this team exists at the national level. That wins Heisman's, especially in 1980. So instead of finishing third, Herschel Walker becomes the Heisman Trophy winner as a freshman. Now let's set the table to what happened to Georgia. And let's be clear, Georgia does not collapse. They're still very strong, but without Herschel Walker, they lose that unstoppable offensive edge. They do lose a couple key games, and they're no longer the defining team of 1980. Instead of being a national championship caliber team, they're just a very good team, good but not great team. And that changes something larger than one season. It changes memory. And that sets the table to the larger changes. Because in the long term, this isn't just about one player. It's about who controls the sport. The first ripple effect is West Virginia becomes a national brand earlier. Not a surprise program, but a destination program. Independents get an increased level of legitimacy. The SEC doesn't collapse, but it does lose a defining moment. With no Herschel Walker led 1980 title, you get a slight reduction in mythology, dominance narrative, and more shared power nationally. And then also by the late 80s, West Virginia's not the underdog in seasons like 1988. By then, they're expected, they're established, they're already part of the national elite conversation. And that sets the table for the final takeaways. Herschel Walker going to West Virginia in this alternate universe doesn't break college football. It doesn't rewrite everything, but it does something more subtle. It changes who wins the Heisman in 1980, who wins the 1980 national title, who gets remembered, and who gets to define the 1980s. Because sometimes the difference between finishing third and finishing first isn't talent, but it's where the spotlight hits. And in this alternate timeline, Herschel Walker doesn't share the spotlight, he becomes it. And if you enjoyed this college football alternate history deep dive, hit like, comment, subscribe, and check out more videos on the end screen. And I will see you in the next timeline.